Okay, so ready?
Sure. Let's get started.
Let's get started. All right, welcome, guys. Welcome. This is
Welcome back to
welcome back to the second sitting of the Shaberi Monday, Friday, whatever day it is today.
yeah. I think it's been almost a month.
It's
Yeah,
Yes,
Oh, yeah?
the last time we updated.
yeah,
It's been
yeah.
almost a month.
Yeah, almost a month since the initial sitting, the introductory Shabari Monday. So today we are here with our good friend Mischel.
Hello.
So this is the guy who introduced me and Taka when we were living in Amsterdam. So
Yeah.
why don't you say like a couple words about yourself? What's your name? Who are you? What do you like to
Alright.
do?
All right. I'm Mishcel Watai. Uh, yeah. I've been living in Amsterdam for the past 5 years, and through working in the ramen restaurant, I met Sabi and Taka as well, and we all became really good friends and vibed in the same manner. Uh, we were like jamming together and playing games together, all kinds of stuff. That's how I know you guys. And again, I'm here to jam some more.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. As we can
Alright.
see,
Some jams today, right?
yeah, bro. As we can see, Taka has some new amazing setup over there, which
Yeah.
Mm.
is
Here's
fucking
a
awesome.
display capturing my voice and all the sound coming from my system. So you guys can enjoy, my voice and the DJ background noise. Do you guys hear the music
Yep.
on
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I'm currently doing DJ on my laptop. Yeah. So I'm talking and doing DJ. And at the end of this show, we're gonna do the jamming session by using the looper from my computer. So it's such a multi-works. So I appreciate it. I'm not good at doing many things at once, but I'm just trying to entertain you guys. Yeah.
Definitely, man. This
Enjoy.
is
Of course.
this is like a whole experience now with the nice music in the background. We are setting up like a nice jazzy conversation.
Mm.
The visuals.
This is like a jazz of the podcast, right? Like
Yeah.
we don't know what's gonna happen. We didn't like plan too much, but we just go as we feel.
Exactly, man. Exactly, man. Just going with the flow and enjoying what we're doing. Yesterday we sat down for a little bit of a setup session where Taka was jamming the whole night, trying to figure out the audio balancing and all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that took a while, right?
Yeah, that was actually far difficult than my expectation. Yeah, because of the now currently we are using Discord for video streaming, but actually it contains a lot of settings in the default, like audio suppression and noise reductions, and those default settings were interfering to transmit pure audio from my computer to those two guys. So it took a lot of times to just turn them off to just send a pure audio from my side. Yeah.
I
that was
think at
ridiculous.
one point we could only hear the music when you were talking. Like
Yeah.
whenever you talked, you hear like near like in the background.
Oh yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say I love the visuals, bro. I don't know like what software you're using to show these like 3D audio waves, but It gives like I'm looking at the sound matrix or something.
Try to beatbox. You see,
Yeah.
the yellow things were popping,
Yeah.
popping up.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
My beatbox sounds. See?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. As the bass goes lower, the waves also go more towards the left, or is it the right? Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This wave means the frequency distribution, and this side means lower frequency, and this side means the higher frequencies.
All right.
I could have actually optimized better to make it look more dynamic, but today we didn't have the enough time to set up. So
Yeah.
next time you guys can probably see more dynamic audio waves coming from this display. Yeah.
I also like the numbers that's like going on the screen, like counting up and down. That looks very like I don't know,
I'm
like
not sure if I remember correctly, but this software is published by Princeton University or something. I was just searching some cool stuff to stream my audio wave real time. Then this software was the lightest. That's why I picked up this one. Yeah, I had to play BG and other softwares at the same time, so I didn't want to use CPU consumption for displaying things. So, yeah,
It's really awesome, man.
yeah.
Well,
Respect Princeton University.
yeah, man. Well, we did think about a little bit of a topic today to talk about, which is going to be language, because we are all three of us are very involved with language. We all have very different perspectives on it, and we are all quite fascinated by it. If you can turn the music a little bit lower, then we can start with that discussion.
Okay, so how about this? Good.
very nice.
Just
yeah.
slightly lower.
How about this?
Yeah.
I think that works. Yeah.
That's nice. That's quite good.
Nice.
All right. So, about today's topic, I am very much involved with language right now because I just finished my English teacher certification at TEFL, and I am planning to move abroad to teach English. And language has always been like a big passion of mine. I've always had a really good sense with language, like I learn languages quite easily. And we can talk about a little bit the English language, like all three of us are not native speakers, so we can offer some perspectives on how we achieved the level of English that we have today, because I think we all have some interesting insights. So why don't we go to Mischel first, because this guy has been all around the world. And
All right.
let's see what. So how has it been? What have you been through, my man?
Okay, so my experience with English started when I went to Bangladesh as a child at the age of 5. I have a father who is Bangladeshi, and he took me to Bangladesh to make me learn Bengali and English at the same time. So I got into an international school there. And from my memory, I remember it was like an Australian international school. So they taught English in Australia. They were trying to do an Australian accent, but still, they're not natively from Australia. They're from Bangladesh. So
Hmm.
I remember learning like um yeah, way to say things in that weird mix of accents.
Yeah.
But still, I had a really good like baseline of how like English words are pronounced, how the grammar worked. It was in the back of my mind. And then I went back to Japan and I pretty much forgot how to speak English. Um,
Yeah,
like I
because
didn't use.
you were quite young at that time, right?
Yeah, I was yeah, from 6 to 12 I was in Japan, and yeah, nobody really uses English except for like when you're using borrowed words like katakana, which is like English words, but it's like in a very Japanese pronunciation. Like McDonald's is McDonaldo, or Starbucks is Starbucks. Uh,
Yeah, and
but
sensitive
then,
is naive.
yeah, naive, which in English, naive means like you are like gullible or you believe things easily. But in Japanese, it means you are like very sensitive at heart or take something to heart a lot.
Hmm.
So very like different.
So even if
But
the words sound the same, the allocated meaning can be quite different.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So yeah, like, but I did go to like no, like a English after school, like cram school.
Yeah.
Uh, and from there, I picked up my interest again in English. And I was telling my parents, like, I want to develop on this, like, English and, like, more international culture. So my mom gave me the opportunity to study in New Zealand after I finished my primary school. So from there, I moved to New Zealand and I went into high school there and I learned English like from a native, basically.
Yeah, that's quite amazing, man. And you told me before that when you moved to New Zealand, you actually didn't have much grasp on the English language, so you had this little like translator machine with you that the Maori kids were using to like teach you bad words.
Yes, exactly. So when I went to New Zealand first, I came into like a sort of rural school in a place called Wanganui,
Mhm.
which has a high Maori population. So actually, the English they use is more simplified. Um, so it was a good way for me to like pick up on what they want to say. Um, but yeah, at the same time, I was learning all these bad words. They would put it in the translator and like make me say it, and they would like laugh at it, and it was quite wholesome. But in retrospect, I was like, oh, that's like a very different way to like build your English like learning,
Yeah,
because traditionally you're like just hitting the books and like learning from the um, theoretical parts, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you did get put into this kind of native environment where you were like forced to engage in that language, you know, on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's one of the best ways to actually learn, like to acquire the everyday kind of language that you can actually use. So
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
ask
right.
Taka also about that because you have been like brought up in Japan and you experienced this kind of like very theoretical heavy approach in Japan to the language.
Oh, do you know it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, my first experience learning the English is from for school. We started educating English from
Like middle school.
Shogakko.
Oh,
Shogakko.
yeah. Primary
Elementary
school.
school.
Yeah.
Primary school, elementary school.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
elementary
same.
school, and from the third to fourth grade, it depends on the school, but we start educating kids English from that age. But we first really focused on how grammar works, and we learn vocabularies by really strict way. Like you learn, for example, apple, then teacher will tell you, oh, you're gonna write apple 10 times or 20 times until you remember how correctly you can write with the correct spells, you know. And I was so bad. I didn't even pay attention to the class when I was a kid.
Of course,
And
yeah.
I totally abandoned studying English up to 20 years old.
Quite recent.
Yeah, 20 years. When I was 20 years old, that was the year I got into a company, a first company in my life. I was working in the company which makes audio composition like headphones or earphones or speakers or whatever. Then I became an engineer at the company. Then I needed to learn English because I had to communicate with those workers working on the Vietnams or China or on our factories. For the sake of communication, I had to learn it. That's why I started learn English again. But yeah, the journey was so hard because I didn't even pay attention for every class I took in my life.
Yeah.
So as you guys already noticed, I speak pretty much a broken English. Then
No, I don't think so.
You see that you know because I still don't get the plural and the singular. You know, I always forget to put articles and those things.
But that's
because,
normal.
Japanese.
I make that mistakes too, yeah.
Yeah, I think
from Japanese English
yeah.
is really so distant structurally, and even the way of forming a sense is really different
Yeah.
when it comes to English speaking from Japanese side. So yeah, that was the first time I seriously got into speaking English, and then some times passed. Then I ended up to quit the company. Then I was a little bit crazy at that time, so I decided to go to the Amsterdam to experience the culture outside of my home country. Then I met you guys over there. Then yeah, I improved my English a little bit better. Then now I came back to Japan and still studying English and just practically applying and enjoying the journey of this language acquisition.
Yeah.
To me, so Japanese strict education didn't work at all. Unfortunately, depends on the person. I think I hope, but
Yeah.
just immersing myself into some conversation, communication with whom you like works better on me.
Yeah. I think that's a really good perspective to have with you two guys because you come from the same country, yet the experience of learning the English has been so different because with Taka you had to go through that kind of very rigid systematic approach of like learning grammar first, which is actually not recommended in like more organic native type of learning, because if you start with grammar then it's like when you're like playing video games, you're not gonna like look at the code first to learn the English, like maybe you can look at the code later if you're interested in that, but like native kids don't start with grammar. So in that way, I can imagine that it was quite boring and unengaging to just, look at only like rules and systems and do it like a kind of hard, like cramming kind of way with the vocabulary. Like you're not really using it, you're just learning it like mathematics or like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like it's not gonna give you the organic knowledge. And then here is Mischel, who had this kind of more organic approach in his upbringing, that he actually went to the places where it was spoken, and he was forced to engage even without necessarily knowing the grammar, right? So you just had to start speaking and just put words together to make it make sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Taka, you noticed the difference once you moved to the native environment, right? Once you moved to the...
Yes. I want to mention about the huge thanks to Mischel, because he's the one who actually opened up the creativity for English speaking for me. Up to that point, I was still strictly following the rules over the feeling or the cultural context. But this guy told me that, yo, Taka, language doesn't work like that way. He even, shared a lot of skit videos.
Yes, we have.
That was, to me, that was actually one of the biggest breakthroughs for the language acquisition. Yeah, I was like so impressed the way how people speak in different places. For example, the countryside of New Zealand, people speak completely differently. Even the pronunciations, the way of using vocabularies are really different. Grammars are also different at some point. Yeah, so Mischel really introduced me that aspect of language, learn the language from cultural side. Yeah, this guy is the legend.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like with my experience as well, the biggest thing for me to break through was that I wanted to learn. Like I got interested to know how to speak the language so that I can engage in their media or culture, music, whatever things that's like around. You can kind of open the window through language. I think that's the beauty of learning languages.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the communication and the connection between people, right? So through language, you're also inevitably going to acquire the culture. So, I mean, if you're really learning it, right? Like you can learn it in this kind of sort of rigid way where you are just within your own environment, your own bubble, and you're not really engaging with the culture of the language. But that's going to limit your understanding of the language and of the people that you're trying to talk to, right? So I first experienced this when I went to Japan, right? So before I went to Japan, I studied a bit of the language, and I had some like formal classes with a private teacher to try to prepare me, and the focus was more on the grammar so that I can actually form sentences correctly. But when I arrived, I realized that, hey, they are using a lot of lingo, slang, all these kind of things that are like embedded within the culture. The meaning is embedded in the culture, and it is also very regional within Japan. So I had to kind of learn this kind of distinction between, like the Tokyo dialect, Kansai dialect, all these kind of different places, which is the same thing that Taka discovered with English. that hey, it's actually not just one English language. It's totally different if you go to Australia, New Zealand, UK, US, Ireland. These all have like very different like dialects and word uses and meanings.
Yeah, very true. And yeah, in Japan also, like, it's totally unintelligible if you go like up north in Aomori or something. Like, sometimes like they have their own language, kind of, and yeah, like it's still Japanese, but the pronunciation is very different. Like words that they use.
Yeah, man. I wanna talk about a little bit about the skits videos that Taka mentioned. Because I think one of your biggest influences that you have, like where you have really noticed and kind of incorporated into your own English speaking, was the Big Les show, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What's going on, Mike?
Exactly. So it's an
sassy, bro.
It's an Australian YouTube series, right?
Yeah.
So it's an Australian guy who did a YouTube series about a Sasquatch and his Australian mates who go on crazy adventures and do drugs all the time.
Yeah, when I was in New Zealand.
Controversy topic, but I really like to talk about this topic. Anyways, it's just a YouTube video. Who cares?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like when I was in New Zealand, like all the high schoolers like kind of watched this Big Les show. Like it was like such a big hit during that time, and yeah, like I think the humor is similar as well to New Zealand humor. So naturally, I also got involved. Yeah, it's really funny. Just like local, like bogan Australian life, but in a fantasy setting.
Yeah. We definitely recommend you guys check it out. Big Les show, if you haven't seen it yet. But what was the thing that really like grabbed you there, Taka? So what resonated with you? Yeah. Because I want to ask you this, because when you went into it, you were like, watch the whole thing in one sitting. And
I was so surprised.
How can I say? Series from that animation series, I could feel emotion with the language so strong. That was the point I really strongly got interested into that videos. People are talking like so calmly, and every mate were nicely human. How can I say?
Like organic.
Yeah, really organic, and I felt really natural humanity out of those videos. That's why I got interested into it. I was feeling I was also be a part of their community. I wanted to immerse myself into their community. I wanted to be a mate of them. So that's the reason why I was just enjoying them as my friends.
Yeah, you felt like you were part of the story as you were watching it.
Yeah.
Nice. Because it's like also one of the first examples where you really experienced like a regional dialect with English, right? That is quite heavy. So the Australian accent can be quite heavy and very unique. So that was like, I think you once told me before, like this was the first time that you realized, like, hey, this is English. Like English can sound so different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I couldn't actually understand at all what they were talking about the first time I watched their movie.
What is that gonna be?
Because yeah, the one of the guy, Sassy the Sasquatch, one of the main characters, he talked like, "What are you gonna be?" Actually, he's
Oh,
what
last
are you
night.
talking about? But his accent is so huge, so heavy, so he becomes like, "What are you talking about?" He can't even say popcorn. He say popcorn
Popcorn.
as popcorn. Yeah, and, one another guy, the big Liz, the friend of Sassy the Sasquatch, was trying to teach him how to pronounce popcorn correctly. Like, yo, say corn, say popcorn. Then Sasquatch said popcorn. Then what the hell is going on? You can't just merge those two. You can say each word, but once unite those two words, he can't say popcorn. Popcorn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I really like that part. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I also
It's really, I think, yeah, exaggerated, but I found that was, first trigger for me to dig into those heavy accents in English. Then it kind of gave me a really nice insight to be generous to the variety of the way of speaking, approaching to the language.
Yeah.
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 I also remember you, Taka. You were also like really into King of the Hill as well. Was it the
Oh,
name?
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's also like a very organic, like
Oh.
southern US.
Yeah,
What was it?
the
Southern, yeah,
Texan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like culture and like the middle-aged man's life type of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Mhm.
such a like niche mood for Japanese people. I don't
That's
think
for
like
sure.
they would usually engage in those.
Yeah.
I really appreciate Michelle shared those contents with me. It really helped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's great.
That is very good, this is, I think, one of the most important things when you're trying to acquire a new language is to be playful about it, right? You find some kind of engagement point for yourself, something you like, the funny accent, the interesting stories that you find or something, and then you engage through that, and you are not only looking at these kind of rigid theoretical rules and systems and trying to kind of like imprint it into your mind, but rather you are engaged with it organically and naturally, and you're trying to be part of something through that language. So I think that is,
It's nicely depicted.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Also, for you as well, Sabi, you've always been engaged with Naruto growing up.
that's
I
true.
think.
That's
So
true.
it's also like a way for you to step into the Japanese culture for you, right?
That's very true. That's very true, man. Like even from a very early age, well, like around 8 years old, I would say, I started watching this kind of anime, mainly Naruto and like some Dragon Ball, some Inuyasha, and I would watch it first in the Hungarian dub. But the Hungarian dub for like anime always sounded really bad to me. So even it was my own language, I couldn't really see it as those characters' voices because it just didn't fit the characters. And then my father would download the newest Naruto episodes and burn them onto like a CD for me and my brother to watch, and those were in Japanese because they were so fresh that they haven't been dubbed yet. So then I started watching the Japanese original voiced versions with the Hungarian subtitles, and it just clicked, and I was like, yeah, this is amazing, I love it, and somehow the language resonated with me a lot. And I remember my mom came into the room one time where I was just watching the Naruto all day, and this kind of anime Japanese voices coming from the room all day, and she's like, oh, don't you want to watch something else? Like, this is crazy, like, do you understand this? And I'm like, yes, mom, I understand this. It's all good. So even from like that age, I started to like engage with the language, and from there on, it was just building up.
Did you speak Japanese already at that point, or
oh no,
you just could understand but you couldn't speak?
Yeah, it was more of like a feeling, that like through watching all that, like the conversations and the situations, because I was always quite a visual learner, so I found it much easier to learn something if there was like visuals attached to it. So for example, when I was learning like poems, like I had to learn poems by heart to recite in the literature class, and I had this trick where I would read the poem and I would draw it. So I would make drawings, like little cartoons that depicted the poem, and through looking at the cartoons I would recite the poem. So that made it much easier for me to remember the stories. So this was kind of similar, I think, that I was watching the anime, and the like meanings of the words started coming to me through the situations on the screen. So I think that's how it was.
That's cool.
How much of the vocabularies for the actual meaning you understood at that time?
I would say like at that time, man, I would only know like just a couple words. Like a couple words that I would know, like hi, dame, iko, ikuzo, this kind of like, just the one word type of like.
You already knew the basic expression.
Yeah, like
necessary for everyday life.
Yeah, like very basic, yes.
Yeah, like when I first arrived in New Zealand in like a hotel with my mom, there was South Park on the screen, and that was like, yeah, and that was kind of like one of the first times I engaged in like English cartoons with English like speaking.
One of the craziest ones.
I didn't know it was like American at that time, or is it Canadian? No, it's American. Yeah. So I was watching it with my mom, and I remember that like they were doing like a play in the school, and like all the lights like crashed down onto the students, and like there was blood everywhere. And like I was like, wow, like New Zealand cartoons are different. Like that was my first like impression about New Zealand cartoons, like compared to the Japanese kids cartoon. Like it was next level.
And that probably was one of the lighter episodes of South Park, because there is like insane stuff in that one.
Yeah. No.
I remember as a little kid, my uncle used to watch South Park, and later in the day they would show it on like a TV channel, and I wanted to watch it because I was like, oh, what is this? This looks really cool. I was like maybe, you know, like around this like 9 years old at that time, and I was like, yo, these little like colorful characters, you know, bouncing on the screen. I thought that looked really funny, and I wanted to watch it. And I was at my grandma's house, and my uncle lived there at the time, and I was like, yo, that looks really funny, let's watch that. And my grandma was like, no, you're not allowed to watch that, like there is no way you're gonna watch that. And I didn't understand why until like a couple years later I sat down with my uncle to watch the South Park movie, and that was just absolutely bonkers. So then I understood. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did you ever watch South Park, Taka?
Not really.
Not
I
really.
watched, only few episodes. So I was really interested into the one Mischel mentioned before, where the blood spreads all the place.
That's kind of how it goes every episode.
Yeah.
Every episode,
There is a lot.
What I only watched was the cursing of Japanese.
The
Like the one salary man became like a pervert octopus or something.
like
Do you remember that one?
I
trying.
think so.
I don't actually remember that story well, but one story was intentionally made to like humiliate Japanese culture.
I mean, they roast the shit out of every culture or media person.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Really black joke, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's like
It's
such
really
a
different culture.
Black humor.
different humor.
Dark
yeah.
humor.
No, yeah, that's like very censored in Japanese. I think it's like a taboo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it was interesting. Like in Japan, in Japanese culture, I don't think there's so much sarcasm. That's
No.
also what I noticed.
Yeah. That's
Less sarcasms, but more physical commitment.
yes.
For
being
comedy.
naked or being slapped or
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
physical,
That's actually a really good point. I haven't thought about it, because my experience was that Japanese people just don't understand sarcasm at all. Like
Actually, we understand the sarcasm really well, but
it's
the-
different.
That's yeah. We our sarcasm
Yeah, it's
isn't that
different.
direct.
Yes,
When we
right.
say
Yes.
sarcasm, that is really winded. That's not straightforward. So when we watch the let's say US comedian shows, we feel that they're so talking straightforward. So we feel kind of bad, embarrassed
Yeah.
because we are not used to
Like
directly
it's rude.
say something bad to people.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this kind of Western style of sarcasm is actually quite rude. Like you're being rude, but sarcastically. So that's like, I guess culturally you have to pick up on that in order to understand it. Because, like, when I was in Japan, I remember I tried to be sarcastic once with my ex's mom. And it was not like a rude thing. It was not like a rude thing, but it was in the summer, and it was really, really warm. Like I was dying. It was so warm, and I just went into the living room, and I thought I'm gonna be funny, and I'm gonna say, samui ne. Which is like, oh, it's really cold. And then they just looked at me like, no, it's not cold, it's really warm actually. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, they don't get it.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of
They take you very seriously, like what
yeah,
you say. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like upfront, you know.
yeah. Like the it's kind of interesting, you know, because the Japanese do use a lot of hidden meanings. So
Yeah,
I thought that
yeah,
maybe they would get it, but they didn't.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
It's very
That's
different.
true.
That's how they. Yeah.
That was a good lecture, right?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience, man. I did not try to be sarcastic after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the point where you can't learn from textbooks,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
the way we approach to make a sense is really different, and it comes from the context of everyday life. Not only the jokes, but I sometimes find out of grammatical structures. Let's say, what was that? At or in or to or those things. How do you say that? A conjunction or something?
Yes.
In Japanese, we use no, wa, ga, de.
Mm.
So each word have different areas of like the way of conceptualize a thing is different. So in Japan we don't have equivalent word to the word at. I don't think
Mm.
we have the equivalent word, because you can say at even when a target object is at beneath of the surface. It's fine to say at, right? No, on. I meant on.
On.
Like you can use it interchangeably, or
Interchangeably, or so. Oh my God, I messed up. I should have proposed the example with on. Now I realize that.
So you were talking about
I wanted
on.
to say that.
Like
Yeah, I was actually had to. I had to start talking about mentioning about on instead of at. Yeah, now I realize that. Yeah.
no, yeah. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
so you're saying the thing is on something,
Yeah.
or you are
Let
on
me
something.
let me start the explanation again. That, for example, you say my finger on the surface, right? My finger on the surface of my mouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really like in this case we don't use like mouse no 上に指がある. So
yeah, like I
when
think
in
in
school we learn like on is 何々の上に.
yeah,
It's,
Yeah.
I think in Japanese we like omit those details. Like we just like don't go so specific, and we just say yubi mouse ni yubi ga. I don't know what you would say, but
let me. Oh, now I'm clear. Can I try it again?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's actually so difficult to switch from Japanese to English than trying to
Yeah. Translate, yeah.
compile one language to another.
Definitely.
So when I was in elementary school, I learned that the meaning of on is something is there on top of the surface. 何々の上にある.
Yeah.
So if you want to say that, you can use on. But actually, the equivalent word in Japanese, it's only applicable when the target object is on this direction, you know. But once when it's upside down, you can't use on in Japanese. So the direction matters in Japanese when you want to say on.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So the structure is really different, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying, because in Japanese the direction is very clear. Like if you wanna go up, it's ue, and if you wanna go down, it's shita, right?
Mhm.
Like mae, oku,
机の
these,
上に、
yeah.
の上にある壁に貼り付けてある壁に貼り付いている机の上にある We have to
Mm.
change
Mhm.
like really change the conjunction
Yeah.
yeah depends on the direction where the target object is facing to.
Now I understand why you mixed up on and at, because in Japanese, if you say
yeah.
like the something is on the cupboard, you use like ni, right? Which is more about it's at the cupboard. If you wanna translate it a bit more direct.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm
The-
thinking about? You understand, kind of,
no.
Michelle?
Kind of, yeah. Like when you say like it's on the cupboard, I imagine it's like on top, right?
Yes.
And then at the cupboard is more like kind of inside. It could be like just anywhere
Yeah.
around,
Yeah.
like yeah, somewhere around the cupboard. Whereas like if you're in the cupboard, it's like in like.
Yeah, it's inside. Yeah.
But in Japanese, I feel like you just say overall like cupboard ni aru. Or
Yeah.
if you wanna specify, you can. But yeah, you don't usually say like. Maybe you can say cupboard no ue ni aru.
Yeah.
Or no naka ni aru. But
Yeah.
you like add something else rather than like replacing it with another like
Conjunction.
conjunction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just alternate every each word, you come up with your mother tongue into some another target language. It doesn't work like this, you know. You're so screwed up because it's completely different system.
Yes.
So
True. Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't even explain well this time, but because you know there is no equivalent words to explain. Once I say on or at, you comprehend the meaning of at English way, you know. But we Japanese nurtured our brain in such a different way, so the kind of equivalent or similar word in Japanese is really used in different occasions. You can't just alternate one to one. So that's what I meant basically.
That's true. That's true, man.
Also, I have something I noticed as well, like the really big difference with like how words work in Japanese and English is that when you look at a Japanese kanji, for example, and you see a word, you have like a structure where you, even if you don't know the proper meaning of the word, you can kind of work out what it's about. So, for example, you're talking about like a type of a fish, like carp or tuna or something. There's always a small like area where the character fish is in there. Always.
Yeah.
So there you can instantly recognize, even though you don't know how to say it, you know that it's about a fish.
Yeah.
Whereas in English, you need to know each specific types like carp, tuna, salmon. They're all very different words that doesn't have any connections. So you need to like know each of them, which is like super difficult actually.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that is quite a big difference with the kind of linear writing system, you know, with the Roman letters, Latin based, and compared to this kind of kanji, which is very visual, very like picture based,
Yeah.
with the meanings.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
quite
like,
quite
but
interesting.
Um,
you don't know how to say it. But yeah, it's like if you know like the components, you can like stick them together and probably it can make a meaning.
Yeah, derive some meaning.
Yeah,
Nice.
like for example, I think my name, uh, my last name, it's Watai. The Wata character is means to cross, but it's made out of like water character, Sanzi, and mm, Do, which means like to measure or something, like to measure the water. So I don't know how that become like the word for crossing, but it's probably got some origins. Like maybe to cross, they needed to measure how, like the bridge, like how long the water goes or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Probably.
Yeah.
probably.
Um,
So yeah,
I
that's
want to ask you guys: have you guys ever struggled thinking about the number of objects when it comes to English speaking?
you
Because
mean?
I'm from
oh
Japan, my original language is Japanese, in which we don't have the equivalent system. We don't put, for example, I have an apple. We don't put that an before apple.
no.
We don't care
Ah,
about the number of the object when we are talking something. Lingo
mm,
garu, you know? We
Mhm.
don't say like lingo, 一つの lingo. We don't mention
Lingos.
about a number. If we want to talk about the number, lingos, we don't say like lingos. We don't have a plural form of word. So
No.
we don't care about numbers. If you want to know the number, you can ask me. Then I can tell the numbers later on. That's how Japanese conversation goes. So how do you guys deal with those systems?
For me, definitely, like I struggled to put the plurals like when I started learning because it was not natural for me to put it. So sometimes still even I like do it differently. Like like last week I was playing Dungeons and Dragons and I have like I was talking about a tooth, but I kept saying teeth as if there was a lot of them, even though I
ah,
was like,
Tricky one.
you know,
Yeah.
you were using the
yeah.
plural form for just one tooth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, actually, like somebody pointed it out, and I was like, ah, yeah, like you're right. I forgot it's like a plural form.
That's
Yeah,
very interesting, man. That's very interesting. For me,
yeah.
in Hungarian language is like one of the most difficult languages in Europe, so the grammar goes absolutely crazy. So
Mm,
for me, like going to English was actually quite simple. Like I felt like the language is simplified compared to Hungarian, like grammatically, and we have a lot of these plural forms and things like that in Hungarian. So for me, the only challenge was learning the differentiation between the countable and uncountable nouns and words,
mm,
so that, like, for example, you say like a tooth is a countable, like you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth,
Yeah.
but like water, for example, is not. It's
mm,
not countable. You can say not like 1, 2, 3, 4 waters. That's not
mm,
correct. So that was kind of for me something new that I had to like get used to or understand, is like, okay, so there is countable and uncountable things, which is
mm.
I
like,
guess that is, Yeah, I guess that is same for both of us, me and Michelle.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Because in Japanese we also don't have that.
Yeah.
Don't differentiate uncountable and uncountable.
Yeah.
The one that confused me the most is like sheep. Like, why is that like both plural and singular?
Yeah.
Like, you don't say sheeps.
Yeah,
So-
there is some words where the singular and plural
Yeah.
is the same.
How do you say in the
Sometimes
plural form?
So
sheep?
1 sheep or 5 sheep?
it's just sheep.
It's
What?
just sheep. Yeah, it's just
Why?
sheep. Yeah.
Why?
I was so confused in the
I'm now
start.
more
Yeah.
confused because
Yeah.
they even made a special word for the plural form of octopus as an octopi. Then
Yeah.
why they just gave up putting the new plural form of sheep?
You
Yeah.
can have
Fuck
goats.
sheep. Why?
You can have, yeah,
I don't get it.
lambs. No, wait, can you say lambs? No, maybe not. Maybe it's
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh,
I
and
don't
you
know.
this sheep
I still
Lamb.
can't
family.
say
A silence of the lamb.
Lambs.
Right? Then maybe, yeah.
I think, yeah. I think that one has a normal plural form.
Confusing.
It is kind of confusing.
Also, I like did zoology classes, and the teacher told me like when you want to say fishes, it's only when you are talking about different species of fishes. So you can, yeah, like when it's just fish, it's like plural is fish.
Yes, yes, because you
Yeah.
would say, look at all the salmon, you know?
Mm.
There is like
Mhm.
I see 6 salmon like swimming over
Yeah.
there. You're not saying like I see 6 salmons,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? There is no like plural form that way, but you can
Yeah.
say there is many fishes
Yeah.
in the ocean. Many types.
Yeah.
But then
Types of fishes, yeah.
no, but then you would say many types of fish.
True.
Because then the types is already in the plural.
True, yeah. But yeah.
I see Taka's brain is like the smoke coming out of the ears.
I'm done.
The wave is like
I just
reacting
don't
more
care.
because
Yeah. I just
now he froze.
Yeah, he froze up. It was too much.
Too much to compute.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the hard part about
Yeah.
part about English.
So that.
Okay.
Oh, welcome back. Now the audio is. There we go.
yeah. Sorry for the accident.
No, it's all good. What happened?
It seems like my fucking Wi-Fi router started automatic update because it's midnight.
Oh, I thought that was the case, like the internet was cutting out or something.
That was even worse.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just switched to the hotspot from my smartphone.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Smart.
Yeah.
Walking
Nice.
around.
Yeah. We were saying that now we are recording over an hour, so if we wanna do like a little bit like a short jamming session at the end,
Oh yeah.
and then we
Oh,
can
yeah,
and then
for
we can
sure.
finish it up.
It's the
Sounds good.
perfect time. Start the jams.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Hmm.
Pretty simple, I think. Yo.
Yo.
So. Is this okay? Is this BPM fine? Is this fine?
Sounds fine. Sounds fine.
Okay.
A little bit, like just a touch faster.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm gonna start recording the electrical piano.
Straight from the scratch. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. Raise the dead and slay the bad. Cut the head, then bleed the neck. Yet they can still stab me in the back. No way, yeah. Sharingan in my eye, Mangekyo in the sky. Under again, jutsu high, yo. Silent tripping is the vibe. Music straight from my mind. Flowing light is the life. Feeling fine in the night. Yeah. Moon and stars shine through the night. Moving for my steps on the night. Swerving cool in the half light. Turn to good all the bad highs. Still seem like a fool in your eyes. Shit. Yeah. I guess I better quit it. All the fucks when I give in. All the trust as you're leaving. All the nights when I didn't sleep with you. That's just how it be, what we do. How we feel is how we move. Dressing feelings like a fool. Writing treaties for the tools. Bodies piled to the moon. Shit. Yeah. Didn't mean for it to get so dark. Didn't mean for you to get so far. Didn't need for it to get so hard. Yet, despite all of that, keep writing these words, can you follow that? Let me break it down, this is not a hollow act. Yeah, wabi sabi style, zenned out. What you need is what you get. Not saying golden mountains or silver roads, flowing higher into the ancient lore, growing knowledge, keeping civilization strong. Yo, allow for the human in you to work out all that's wrong. Yeah, knowing the pain of the change. yourself to reach the highest form. Yo, let the future follow past. Let the happy switch the sad. Get hold of what you have. Let go of what holds you back. Bam.
That's chill.
Nice.
That's nice. Such a
Actually,
nice.
the ending was my mistake. I should have pushed the mute button, but I pushed completely delete the project button.
No, no.
Uh,
After that, I was doing some solo to compensate my mistake.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I deleted everything. God
Do you
damn.
wanna run it again?
No, because I deleted it at all. I couldn't.
Do
I have
you-
no way to recover.
No.
No, geez, that was actually.
Shit,
good
that
take.
was actually really good take. Yeah.
cool.
Mm.
Oh shit.
No, that's organic though.
That's
It's
organic.
gonna be in the video anyway, so it's like
Yeah, it's
we
recorded.
can recover back.
We can get the idea back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Preserve.
Preserved.
That's
Nice. Yeah. That was good though. I like it.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm
Nice.
satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I
Nice.
like it.
Hmm?
Do you even remember the sound, music? My solo.
Dun, 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 dun. It was like that. Nice.
You like it, don't you?
I love it.
Nice.
Every
man.
time like you do the music, like you do your tunes, it gets stuck in my head like instantly. Like
Oh.
I can remember the
Yeah,
like,
everybody says that.
melody.
I actually got that talent or some weird ability to imprint the melody into their head.
Yeah,
Mom really
that's
hates
so good.
it.
Yeah, she's like going mad because you're playing
Yeah, yeah.
some tune and she can't get it out of her head.
Nice
Yeah,
guys.
because like I can remember the hype song, like I really wanna hype the crowd and make it dance. That one's like also stuck in my head like all the time.
That's cool.
Very catchy, very catchy.
Yeah. So sick.
This one.
You mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Party people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made this tune when I was in the Amsterdam with other really nice guys, and probably we're gonna invite him someday on
Yes.
the show.
Nah.
He's a rapper.
Yeah.
I would love that. He can also join the jamming and drop some
Yeah.
bars.
Oh yeah.
That would
Would be
be
so
awesome.
sick.
Really professional rapper.
Yeah, that guy.
He will hype them out.
Sounds so good. The flow is crazy.
Actually, on another music video, Mischel helped us to record the tune. With, what was that? I forgot the tune.
The one we recorded together.
Yeah, that was together.
That one was like my oh my. Na, 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 na.
That's
That
one.
one? That's another one.
Yeah, that's another one. But
I-
I even forgot that tune. Yeah, gonna release that tune someday in the future.
I hope
We
so.
we did a music video recording together in the city.
Yeah.
Mari and
Yeah,
yeah, we also
that
have.
one was. Hello, miss, can I get your number?
Oh yeah.
You can call me
That's the one.
Shorty. I just wanna know you, know you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
hope you guys check it, and please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the
In
subscribe.
the link below.
Hell yeah,
Below.
guys. On the
Am I being
Repainter
proper
channel.
YouTuber right now? Am
Yeah.
I being proper YouTuber right now?
Oh yeah.
Get to the
Comment, like,
Repainter.
and subscribe.
Get to the Repainter channel, guys, and check out all the videos.
Please, sincerely.
Please do. Yeah. Alright, guys. Thank you so
Nice.
much for today's session. I think this was a
Thank you
great
so
one.
much.
Here.
Thank you for coming and joining our show, Mr. Mischel. We hope
Thank
you
you.
enjoy this show someday later in the
Yeah.
future.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
yeah. And yeah, if you wanna do more videos like this, I'm always down. So hit me up.
Yeah, man. Definitely a returning guest right here. So,
Sounds good.
alright, guys. This was it for today. The jammings, the discussions. Thank you all so much. And head over to the Repainter channel. Check out the previous Shaberi Monday, the initial meeting, and all the cool videos that Taka has up from his Amsterdam projects. So,
See you in the next time.
see you guys next time. Bye bye.